morning from Collie, Western Australia. This is Miriam Smout. I am founder and creator of Redemption Mamas, a space and a place where I mentor women in the heart healing space. So we have just moved. You might notice a little of a difference in the background. I haven't quite figured out where I'm going to do my workshops right now, but this today is it. I have one room in the house, which is a tiny little woodcutter's cottage, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, which is going to be a really interesting space to try and squeeze into. But we're very grateful to have found somewhere to live. It's really hard to get accommodation in the town of Collie right now, which is why we're here. My husband is building a mountain bike lodge in a building that we've owned in a shopping centre for some years, 20 odd years. But of course, retail is dying and dead, so we needed to repurpose it. So thankfully, what I do can be done online and anywhere. But here in Collie is where my husband Cole from Collie, is doing a mountain bike lodge called the Voltage Lodge Collie. Collie is the centre of energy in our state. It is the place where all of the energy comes, nearly all of the energy comes servicing the state of Western Australia. So for me, that's a really appropriate and a very aligned place to live right now, because my energy and my desire is for women to come into a space where their hearts are healed and whole from the inside out. And as you take that journey and pursue heart healing and pursue finding the wounds and opening up your heart to receive healing and wholeness and completeness, it is life-changing. For me, I was in my 40s. I had done what I could in every way possible, psychology, counselling, therapy, and it just hadn't given me the freedom that I was looking for. So I was still hungry and frustrated and could not seem to hold my life together, could not seem to get traction on finding the freedom that my heart really, truly desired to live in. I saw it in my children. I saw that it was a generational thing, that my children were repeating some of the, mistakes that I made. I could see that they were being robbed, and that was very disappointing, frustrating, in fact, for my heart. But what could I do about it? How could I change it? How was I going to change their destiny by changing my own? I had no idea that that was even possible. And so as I journeyed on this journey of pursuing wholeness on the inside, I realized it was my heart. And that became very evident to me as I went through the journey. And so now for me, it's called heart healing, a heart healing journey. I run heart encounters with women. I work with women, mostly women, because that's where my heart truly, truly lies. Sorry, guys, but it's a space which I hunger and thirst to see women healed and whole from the inside out. We have 5 children, my husband Cole and I. To be married still today is by the grace of God, because there's been many challenges, many setbacks that could and should, and people told me you should just walk away. But it wasn't in my heart. I just didn't believe that my heart was saying, yeah, just walk away. And so I'm not an advocate for staying in an abusive marriage or anything like that. Please don't hear those words from me. That's not my heart. But I do have a heart to connect and be spirit-led, led by the spirit within and the spirit above, and fully listening and leaning into what he is saying and drawing my strength and my understanding and my wisdom from that space. So in the month of October, new month, new theme, I want to really talk about pursuing heart healing. It's an interesting concept because often I'll work with women and I'll hear this. I thought I'd dealt with this. I thought this was finished. And how good it would be that we just have one time, one space, and it's all done and dealt with. But unfortunately, it's just not how life works. Life has new seasons, new challenges, new threats, new disappointments that we need to continually be pursuing this heart healing journey. So I was looking up what the word pursuit means, and forgive me as I really lean on my notes today, because we've been moving over the past few weeks. I have painted this house here the few weeks before that, and then moved. It's just, moving is hectic. It's just no other. I mean, we didn't have a lot to move this time, but it's still hectic. So both Colin and I have been struggling to get out of bed in the morning, and both complaining about feeling a bit exhausted. But I'll share a bit more about how that's been challenging me to continue my heart healing journey, because it's a new stress, it's a new pressure, it's a new exhaustion that we're dealing with. Pursuit means active, ongoing, intentional seeking. Action, active, ongoing, intentional seeking. It's not a passive thing. It's not just showing up and going, yep, done once and dusted, all finished, no more pursuing of this particular heart healing space. Thanks, Cole. Cole's my tech guy. He's trying to get a little bit more. I got 5 bars now, Cole. So he's doing his job. Okay. We're trying to get a little bit more Wi-Fi to the front section of the house. So are you showing up? Are you showing up for your healing even when it's hard? Are you showing up even when you don't feel like it? Are you showing up even when you don't get the answers overnight? If you're not able to say yes, yes, yes to these things, then you're not pursuing. You're not in pursuit of a healed heart. Sorry, blunt today. Filter's a little bit hazy, maybe from my weariness and exhaustion. But pursuit means active, intentional seeking, not just get it done once and lean back in the comfort zone and believe that it's no more you need to do, because that's just not the truth. Heart healing is a pursuit. It's an ongoing thing. It takes pressing in. It takes choosing to lean in closer and closer through prayer, through worship, through journaling and honest conversation with yourself and with your maker. Like the woman who pressed in a crowd when she believed that Jesus was a healer. She believed that he could even heal this blood disorder she had. She pressed in. She fought to touch the hem of his garment. And so for us, we press in believing that his presence can bring us into wholeness. His presence can lead us into a space where our heart is healed and whole and strong, and we can progress through our life with a different joy, a different freedom, a fuller anticipation of our purpose and our plans, of his plans and his assignments for us being fulfilled. And so heart healing takes pressing in. It takes leaning on God. If there was a way to do this without faith, without trust, without dependence, then of course we all would have accomplished it and we all would have done it. But leaning on God means we have to release the belief that we can fix ourselves. Because while we can go so far in an independent mode, we are not going to get the fullness of the freedom that when we walk in a life that we're leaning in and listening to that spirit man, that spirit voice, that divine, still, soft, still, small voice, and going yes and saying yes to that voice. We are then learning to trust in his strength and not our own strength. You know, I thought that I could just be like my mother and steel myself and just believe that if I just, resolutely blocked everything out and just kept on with it, I would be okay. And I tried, but I thought, why does my mum have this incredible strength to be able to just ignore all the pain and the struggle around her? And in some ways, she blocked it out, but in other ways, it caused her to block out other good things in her life as well. And that was deeper, more meaningful relationship with me and maybe even with others. I never had the opportunity to really dive in and ask her more about that. So heart healing takes pressing in, choosing to lean in and get closer. It takes pursuing wholeness. It's easy to think, this is enough. I'm just going to, sit here. This is fine. But it's not just seeking relief from the pain that we might feel, but it's seeking restoration in relationships. It's seeking transformation of our own heart from the inside out. It's seeking to live aligned, body, soul, and spirit. Living aligned is a very critical piece for the heart healing journey. And so for me, I teach it as our spirit man, which anchors me, it grounds me. But when my soul comes out of alignment with my body and my spirit man, then I'm in trouble. The soul is the mind, the will, the emotions. It's all of those chaotic things that can drive us off the rails onto a roller coaster ride, which can be extremely exhausting. It was for me. So pursuit is pursuing wholeness from the inside out. It's pursuing a heart healing that not just takes away the pain, but when you go back into that space, that relationship or that friendship or that issue that has caused your heart to be wounded, you don't feel the pain anymore. Can you believe that is actually possible? That you could step back into that space that caused you the wound and the pain, and you don't have to feel it anymore. That is heart healing. That is the fullness of heart healing. That is the beauty of heart healing, because we go to the very root. We go to the very root and the very place. So if we find ourselves getting triggered, then that's not bad. That's not wrong. That's just a signal that we need to revisit maybe some of the things that we thought we were completely healed from. I always remind myself and others that we're like an onion. We peel away a layer, and that's exciting and it's fantastic and it feels good. And then new experiences, new circumstances, new challenges, new seasons in life kind of scratch where we thought that layer had been, completely peeled away, only to discover, oh, there's more, a deeper dive into more heart healing. And so I want to suggest that this heart healing journey is an ongoing journey for the rest of our lives. And it takes effort, it takes choice, it takes decision, it takes pursuit, it takes active, ongoing, intentional seeking. It's not a passive thing where we can sit back and just everything's great, everything's sorted. I can now cruise through life and not have to deal with the issues, deal with the struggles, deal with the frustrations. New ones will come up. And that's where I found myself in the last few weeks. I have to say, we've moved 7 times now in the last 7 years, which of course wasn't our plan for our life, but we are on a journey, quite an intriguing journey, which now I understand and I see as just part of the whole stretching and enlarging the capacity of my own heart for more and more things that my Papa G, I call him Papa G, because I want to just love him like he's my real father. I didn't even have that close of a relationship with my father that I'd call him that. He was much more distant, just not very well emotionally connected. But loved us, but just struggled with his own emotional connectedness. with himself and with his children and family. But that was a generation in the what was he, 1930s, I think he was born. He has passed a year or so ago now. But how we can grow to enlarge our capacity to tolerate more, to walk with more, to open ourselves up to the more of Papa G being filling us and filling our capacity. So my weeks of the last few weeks have been getting triggered, getting into that space where I felt like I was going to unleash and just my frustration. Not that it was anyone's fault, it's just that it was a stress and a pressure that felt a little bit like a pressure cooker about to explode and about to blow up. But it's not as it's not wrong to feel the pressure. It's not wrong to feel the stress. It's not wrong to feel like you're going to blow up. That's not the wrong part. The wrong part is what we do when we have those feelings. And when we don't have some strategies and we don't have some capacity to be able to lean in and understand what is going on at the deeper level. So, heart healing is getting to the roots. Heart healing is getting to the guts of what's going on at the very bottom of our heart, the very root of our heart. So, this month in October, I want to share from a theme of pressing in. And today I want to focus on honesty before God, on honesty before ourselves, because when we are honest and authentic and genuine, then that's when the really good things can happen. It's when we ignore it, like my mum, as much as it was her strategy to just ignore and turn her back on the struggle and turn her back on the pain and walk away from it. It still walked away with her, and it still walked away with me. I thought copying her would be a way that I could let go of some of the pain and the struggle, but it wasn't the case. So I love helping women in this journey of heart healing because it's been such a powerful journey for myself. I've been helped and I've been mentored. I currently still am mentored. I see the value of having a mentor in my life because it's easy to not be honest. It's easy to trick yourself or deceive yourself or lean into maybe some lies that aren't going to serve you well and keep you in that trap of not being healed and whole. There's a beautiful verse in Psalm 34. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Have you ever felt that crushing, that I just cannot, I don't know how I'm going to get myself out of this hole, that I feel like I'm walking through miry clay. It's just hard, 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 hard. I've had that numerous times in my life. And when I didn't understand the heart healing process, I just kept trying to sludge through the mud, and it was just hard work. It only served to make me weary, exhausted, and feel like a complete failure. But when I started this heart healing journey and started to be honest with myself and honest before Papa G, that there was stuff going on in me that I needed some help with, that's when that honesty with myself and honesty with Papa G started to make a huge difference in my life. So I help women in the heart healing journey by naming and acknowledging whatever it might be that is their pain, whatever it might be that is their wound. And when we've ignored it for most of our lives, it can take a little bit to unpack it. But that's okay. That's okay because at least you're on the journey. You're in pursuit. You're pursuing the heart healing journey. You're being active, not passive. You're ongoing. You're intentionally seeking to understand what is at the root. What is at the root of your heart, wounds and hurts and pains. And then as we do that, and we can bring healing into it, firstly by naming it and actually acknowledging it, then we start to really get healing to the very what I call the heart, the seat of the emotions. The seat of the emotions is where our heart space is, our soul is, our mind, our will, and our emotions, and it's where we process that stuff. The heart, the heart is where these things sit and have lodged. And if our emotions are messy and chaotic and crazy, then our heart is not going to be having a very healed and whole space for those emotions to sit, right? They're going to be chaotic and hectic and nuts. And that was my experience in my 40s of just unraveling. And I just could not understand what I needed to do. I tried the psychology, I tried the therapy, I tried antidepressants, I tried everything, but nothing seemed to be getting me through this hump. So pressing in for me meant courageously, very courageously, because I was terrified of coming close with God and with honesty and putting myself in a place with a mentor that we could unpack some of the emotions at the very grassroots, the very seat, the very heart place that they were sitting. It meant that I had to stop pretending and stop thinking, yeah, I can just get on with this. I can do this on my own in my own strength, and start naming some of the wounds and some of the pains, some of the issues in my life that had caused these heart wounds. When I was very, very young, it took a bit of digging to be able to unpack this, but I experienced abuse, sexual abuse, as a very young child. And I didn't understand as I grew up why I was kind of a bit of a magnet for abuse. And it wasn't until in my 40s I unpacked that I started to get a revelation of this is why, because this giant was awakened way, way too young, way too young. As a very young child, we can't comprehend, we can't process sexual violation. In fact, I was talking to a friend just last night, and this is horrible, but her grandson was exposed to a father who had no boundaries. And when he was in his father's care, he saw and experienced things on a sexual level that no child needs to. No child needs to. Horrible, horrible stuff. And so that little guy now has this journey of bringing healing to his heart, like at tender age of 2, 3, 4. It's horrible to think that that is even a thing, but it's so, so common, unfortunately. But as a child, it brings a trauma. It brings a trauma into our life, into our heart, a trauma that until it's healed, we never grow emotionally from that space. When those things happen to us, we become trapped. We become trapped in the emotion, in the pain, in the confusion, in the trauma of what that brings to our life. And we get stuck. We get stuck emotionally. I was stuck. I was stuck at some very young, early stages of my life, and I didn't understand why when things happened, I just lash out, I just shout, I just scream, I just get angry, and I couldn't seem to manage those emotions. I tried and tried and tried, but they just didn't seem to, they seemed to have a life of their own. And it wasn't until I started this heart healing journey of pressing in, of opening up in an active, ongoing, intentional way, seeking what had happened to me. And it was through the revelation of the Holy Spirit, revealing and opening my eyes to see some things that had happened to me, that some were just even precognition, before I could even have memory as a child. And as those things were revealed to me, and I was able to walk through that journey of bringing healing to those places, it wasn't until then that I started to really find the freedom that I was looking for. And freedom that just meant that I no longer had to go round and round the mountain of abuse, go round and round the cycles and the triggers that were coming up for me in my life. Healing begins when we stop pretending and we start naming. It's easy to just think, I'm just going to bury that. Not going to face that. Not going to dig that one up. And that's the part that takes the courage, because I felt like if I dig up some of the things that might be there, I will probably cry for the rest of my life. I'll probably be a basket case for the rest of my life. It was a terrifying thing to choose to unpack and open up and be honest and be authentic with myself and with God. Honesty is a very important place that we need to start. And there's two sides to this honesty before God. Honesty is about being honest about what is going on, that there is something going on, that there is something bigger than us that can't we can't manage in our own independent way. But honesty before God that He's good, that He's good, He is good, and He will reveal, He will show us. It takes intentional seeking. Pursuing heart healing takes intentional seeking. And just if you don't get the answer in the first 5 seconds or the first 5 minutes or even the first 5 days, to keep seeking, to keep pursuing, to keep pressing on, pressing in, leaning in Him, leaning on Him, and pursuing that heart healing journey. So as for me in my journey, as I've been learning and experiencing and understanding more about this heart healing journey now for several decades, I've been so blessed to be able to journey with other women, to bring mentoring into that space, bring mentoring into the heart healing space for other women. I'm very, very blessed and grateful to have journeyed now with many women who were courageous and brave and willing to open themselves up, to get that revelation, to get that understanding, to get the truth, the honest, genuine, authentic truth about what was going on inside of their own hearts. So, heart healing is something that I have been offering to women through Heart Encounters. Heart Encounter is an hour and a half approximately. We never finish until we're finished, and an hour and a half is usually a good length of time. Too much more, and it can be a little bit draining and overwhelming. It's like physical surgery. When they cut you open and they, dig and cut and stitch, it takes time to recover from that. Same with heart healing. Heart healing is a surgery. It's a surgery where we open ourselves up and we let Holy Spirit go in and do some getting out, digging out, cutting out if it needs. It's not. He's such a gentleman. It is not a process that requires pain, but it is like a physical surgery where you're going to need a bit of time just to let things land, to understand, to get through the process. So an hour and a half is a good time. It's a recorded session, which you get the recording. And what's beneficial about that is sometimes things happen and you go, whoa, what was that? I don't even remember what it was I prayed or what it was I shared. And so you can go back and revisit and maybe make notes. But I make notes and I share the notes with my women I mentor and the recording so that you have some things to fall back on, because there are some ways and strategies that will come out in that heart encounter that might facilitate and support you on your own heart healing journey. I also have a program which I'm just getting back onto my website. Unfortunately, my domain name got stolen and all of my stuff was lost. So I'm having to rebuild quite a bit. But the program is called The Beautiful You Journey. And it's a 6-week process of working through bit by bit by bit what has shaped up your life. There's 5 parts to it. It's the shape up, what shaped your life, the shake up, what has shaken your life, experiences, circumstances, events. The step up, what did you do to step up and out or away from those shake-ups? And then the setup. We do some setting up of some strategies and some processes that help to step you away from the things that may have shaped and shaken your life. It's a very gentle, sweet process, and each week you can join me in a session with others, which is a community thing. Community is one of the most powerful ways of healing. It's amazing how others will share their journey or share their heart, and what comes out for others is just amazing. And they don't even have to say, that's me, I've had that same experience. But in the journey and in the community, we can support and encourage each other, knowing that we're not alone, that we're not the only ones that think about this crazy sort of stuff. And the last one is consistency, because that is the biggest piece, being consistent with whatever it is that whatever it is you're pursuing. So today, as one of the strategies I've used over the years, this is a video back from 2020, so it's a little bit old, 5 years old, but it's a very short little brief video about a strategy I use called Write It Out. So I'd like to share this with you, and then I'll have a little chat about it, and then finish up today with some breathing. I've been finding breathing exercises incredibly useful, incredibly powerful, and incredibly helpful. And I'll talk a little bit about this. But this was me up in Broome, which is a beautiful tropical place in Western Australia. My husband and I were having a holiday up there. And I said to him, look, can you just do a quick video for me? So this is a very unprofessional, quick little video, but it's a bit about the write it out strategy that I use in my life. This is my write it out exercise that I actually do every day. Every day I take 5 to 10 minutes and I write out the 10 things that are on my heart to really get clarity on and to achieve in 2020. So writing it out is the process that helps me to stay really focused and make sure I achieve. That was such a glorious, beautiful space that we have had many holidays up there in Broome. But write it out is simple. I'll do a video on this when I've got my house sorted. So grab a journal. I tried to find a write it out journal, but I don't know where they are. So I just get a journal and write it out, back the front, is what it's called. And it doesn't have to be 10. I mean, it might be just worth starting with, 1. So I haven't been doing this over the last maybe year or two. I can't remember when I last, but when I get to a point of where I feel like my heart is struggling, my heart is heavy, I need some focus, I need to really be able to align myself with my goals, my assignments in life, the purpose, then write it out is a really, really helpful strategy, because I'll talk about why in a minute, but what it is coming up with a phrase or a sentence. And for me right now, my phrase is, one of them will be, I will complete my collie assignment. And without going into too much detail just here, I know for me, I'm here for a purpose. God has given me an assignment here in the town of Collie. This town has experienced a lot of death, a lot of betrayal, a lot of violence, and it's had a reputation of being not a nice place to be. So the government is changing things here and trying to repurpose the town to make it into a mountain bike town, because in actual fact, this the surroundings in this place are beyond amazing. There's forests. 90% of this area is beautiful natural forest. Right now the wildflowers are blooming. It's just an incredible place to walk and live and be. So a lot of people come here. The mountain biking, I hear from people that travel many, many places, is as good here in Collie as it is anywhere in Australia. And we've had family who have done mountain biking all around Australia and friends come here and said, wow, that was next level. So we have an incredibly beautiful area here. It's a natural haven for trekking and hiking, and we have some trails that go through the town that are, take 6 weeks to complete. So the town is actually a town where there should be life and vibrancy and energy, because it's the energy center of the state, right? So I know that part of my assignment here in Collie is to see that restoration of the life in this place, to see the death put back in its place. There's been a lot of suicide here, a lot of abandonment and betrayal, and on the part of governments as well. So the history is quite intriguing, and I've been doing some digging into some of the past history of the town. But one of the things that in the last few weeks of just the weariness and the exhaustion, I've been like, oh, what the heck are we doing here? Why are we doing this? It's like, I've got to write it out again. I've got to go back. So I will complete my Collie assignment. It's me making a declaration about what my heart desires. What am I going to do to really bring my heart back into alignment? So I'm going to be writing out some write it out statements. And then what I'll do, and it really literally only just needs to be 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, where I write it out. I will complete my Collie assignment. And why write it out is so good is because you're using your vision, you're looking, you're using tactile, you're feeling, and I say it as I write it. So it brings in quite a few of the senses. When we're really engaging with our senses, we are awakening ourselves up. We are awakening our capacity to imagine, to dream, to hope. We are opening up the sensory part of us. And so write it out is a really good strategy. And it doesn't need to be for the rest of your life, but it's just in a season. For me, I'm now in the season where write it out is going to be an important part of what I do. So I'll be making a video sometime soon, putting it up on the YouTube channel about how write it out works. So every day this journal won't be big enough, but I'll be doing I'll probably get to 5 write it outs, because I can think of a few right now over the last few days. I've been thinking about it, and I'll do a morning and I'll do an evening, and then every day, morning and evening. And I just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And you'll feel it start to become one with you, become a part of you, become in your psyche, in your imagination, in your desires. It reignites maybe a little bit of lost hope or lost vision or lost purpose. And so this is the intentionally seeking piece. When we are intentional, we are taking action. We can't be passive and just sit down and hope it's all going to work out for good. We need to take action. And so in a heart encounter, I will always be challenging my women with an action step or action steps that will help them to have that pursuit, to continue that pursuit for their heart healing. So write it out is just one of those helpful, practical kind of strategies that are very useful for staying focused, staying centered, staying grounded, staying aligned with the purpose and the calling that we have. So today for our breathing has become such a powerful part for me. I have to say this is something I do every day. I might be in my car driving and I have an opportunity just to do some deep breathing. It really grounds, it really centers. I believe that even physically it's helping my heart. I feel like I'm getting oxygen, I feel oxygenated when I do that. And when we are oxygenated, it brings clarity, it brings awareness, and it brings an awakening to our even our physical body. It's such a beautiful thing. So slow down. The purpose right now is to slow down and to notice what's in your heart. So I'm just going to bring us into a bit of breathing. So just for me, I place my hand on my heart, get the right side of my body. And all of these physical things are just tangible, they're just not pie in the sky stuff. It's like, no, I can feel this. I can feel it. So close your eyes, sit comfortably, place your hand on your heart, and we're going to breathe in slowly for a count of 4, then hold your breath for 2, and then exhale for a count of 6. Got a yappy little poodle in the background there. So let's go. Count, breathing in for 4. Hold 2, breathe out 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. Hold. Exhale. Breathe in. Hold. Exhale. Breathe in. Hold. Exhale. Breathe in. Hold. Exhale. For me, this brings a lot of clarity in my mind, a lot of clarity to, I'm just going to ask my husband to quiet Jira because here we are in a moment of trying to sit and be still and rest. But breathing awakens senses in our body. It awakens our heart. It helps to connect us with our heart, helps us to connect with what's going on in our heart. As we continue to breathe in, exhale, inhale, I want you to silently say, or out loud, whatever, Lord, here I am. So as you inhale, Lord, here I am. Hold. Then on the exhale, say, I bring you my heart. So I'll talk you through this for several rotations. Breathe in. Lord, here I am. I bring you my heart. Lord, here I am. I bring you my heart. Inhale. Lord, here I am. I bring you my heart. And let's just take a few minutes of breathing, long, slow breaths, breathing in through the nose and then breathing out. Lord, here I am. I bring you my heart. And rest as you deep breathe and listen. We're asking for honesty. We're asking to be honest with our heart to be honest with us, and Papa G to reveal what's on our heart. What's your heart wanting to reveal to you today? Is there a wound? Is there a pain? Is there a grief? Is there a disappointment? Is there a frustration? Listen and name it. Name the thing that your heart is revealing to you. As we get that revelation and get that understanding and get that insight of what's on our heart, and we be honest and brave and courageous and name that thing, then I want to challenge you to apply the write it out strategy that I've just taken you through, and write out 1, 2, 3 more, whatever's revealed to you. Write it out, and write it out in a way that states it as if it has already happened. Not just, oh, I'm so tired and weary of feeling this way. Well, yes, that's probably something you've been saying a lot. So we've got to change our language, and we've got to write it out in a way that's going to be positive, affirming, and speak it out how we want to be. I will find restoration. I will bring healing to my heart. I will get the revelation of what my heart desires. Write it out, write it out, and write it out. Write it out in the morning, write it out in the evening. Write it out the next day in the morning, and write it out the next day in the evening. And keep going and keep going. And you will find that you are going to get this revelation. You are going to get insight. You're going to get understanding. It's a beautiful, beautiful step to take. It's an action step. It's how we pursue heart healing. It's the pursuit of heart healing. It takes active, ongoing, intentional seeking to get the heart healing that our hearts so desire. So I'm going to leave that with you this week. That's my challenge. And this month, the Write It Out will be a focus for the strategy. Breathing, keep breathing techniques. Google it. You know, there's just so much online now about ways that breathing can help to ground us and help us to connect with who we truly are. And today, the focus has been on honesty. Honesty with your heart. Honesty with your heart and you, and with your heart and your Papa G, your God. And as you are honest, honesty, truth brings freedom. It brings healing. It brings wholeness. It takes courage. It takes intentional seeking. It takes pursuit of your heart being healed and whole. So God bless, and have a really wonderful week ahead. I'll